Okay, welcome everyone to the sprint demo of Kiali, the sprint number 27. So today we will have speaking Edgar, and I'll introduce a little bit what we've done in the other group here in Kiali. So Edgar, are you ready for sharing your content?
Yes, I'm ready.
Great. So whenever you want.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is the sprint update for this 27, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Sprint number 27, and today's at Saturn, I will do a quick demo of the new features that are available in Kiali. I will start with the simple things because I will try to show how a new feature from the community works. Well, about the simple things, we have done some usability improvements in the graph, mainly with the height feature of the graph. You can see, if you remember correctly or remember from the past sprints, you can type some things here, like, for example, name equal reviews, and this will hide some parts of the graph. There are several criteria. Just to remember people, you can see here the operators that can be used in this field, and you can see what attributes are available to filter nodes. The small improvement that we did here is that, well, you might see that when you filter the graph, you start seeing like holes or just wasted space. So we added a little button here so that you can see it says compress graph on height. What this is doing is to reload the graph. So it tries to keep things in a more optimal position, in more optimal positions. So you don't need to deal with the graph. Of course, if you clear the filter, then the graph automatically reloads itself to be as in the beginning. Another feature, not a feature really, but perhaps a usability improvement also, is that not the use nodes checkbox will also display the service nodes. Previously, they weren't being shown. So this is just for completeness, because, well, you weren't seeing which service nodes were available at the cluster, but now you can. Another, well, it's also another usability improvement is in the message center. This one was available in the previous release of Kiali, but wasn't demoed. So you can see that we have added the details of any, well, not every message that you will see, because this is was recently added and we don't have all errors or messages that can show up. Not all message has a detail. To describe better, a smaller description and a quite detailed description if available. You can expand them and collapse them. Sometimes you will see a stack trace here in case of any errors that will help us to identify bugs in case you happen to hit a bug. Okay, these are the small features that we have added this sprint. Another feature which is quite big and I guess somewhat important is the LDAP support. This came from a member from the community. This is his GitHub handle is managed.
Edgar, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I think that I will repeat. So, yes.
Yeah, you were
this is the, yes, sorry. So this is one of the new features of this sprint that came from the community. It was implemented by ManageMe. This is his GitHub handle. So this basically means that you can now use an LDAP server to log in into Kiali. You can see that here I am using the simple login authentication because everything I try to, if I only can log in as admin, and if I try to use something else like user or something else, it will always say that I am unauthorized. So in simple login authentication, you can only log in as one user, and that's the only user that will be able to log in into Kiali. Sorry for people who don't like to see a lot of text, but I will go to the terminal. Just to show how Kiali is configured right now, I will show the operator configuration. This is the Kiali QSM resource that is placed for the operator. So you can see that what I currently have is strategy login, which means like a simple one user authentication. So the LDAP support is documented in the README. You can use this. You can use no strategy LDAP, and you must set some basic parameters like the host and the port and the base of the search and the how to authenticate into the LDAP server. So I have already some of those configuration in a file, in 2 files. This will be the Kiali operator configuration. So you can see that I'm changing to LDAP strategy, and I'm using Open LDAP server, which you can find. This is the image that I will be using. This is where I took, so you can see this image. You can find this image in Docker Hub. And here are all the available images that you can use. This is used for example purposes, so I think that this is fine to use for those cases. Not sure if this is production ready, but at least for testing, it worked for me. So I use this image, and I will be deploying this LDAP server here inside the cluster, just taking advantage that I already have a cluster, a Kubernetes cluster, and I will deploy in it. And then I will configure Kiali to connect into that LDAP service. This is the host. I will deploy into a test namespace, and I will change in the Kiali configuration. So to apply this configuration, I I will use two commands. The first one is changing the Kiali configuration, and the second one is creating the LDAP server. Not sure how much this will take to start up, but at least the LDAP server should start up quite fast, if I remember correctly. So it is running right now. So you can see that this was just created. This is the LDAP server and the LDAP service. I will export some variables so that I can test that it's working correctly. What is of interest here is the port that is exposed in the LDAP service. So you will use this command to get the port in an environment variable, and let's see what it outputs. This is this port. So once the LDAP service runs inside the cluster, I can do a search, for example. I will inspect what is available at the LDAP server with this command. And if it works correctly, I should get some response. This is the response that I was expecting. You can see that there are two users, one admin user, and there is one read-only user. So since there are two users in the LDAP server, I should be able to log in with both users into Kiali. Let's see if Kiali is already, if the operator has already updated Kiali, so that I will try to see. Okay, so it looks like the operator has already updated Kiali because the pod is quite new. Just to check the configuration that was applied by the operator, I will get the config map that Kiali is using with this command. And you can see that now Kiali is using LDAP strategy, and it's trying, and it will be connected to the server that I just deployed. So I can go back to Kiali now, and I should be able to log in. Just as an example, I will log in with the traditional admin user. You will see that you should see, sorry, I think I will need to delete the cookies here. Okay. Admin user, it should be able to log in, and you can see that it logins correctly. If we see the Kiali logs, the logs of the Kiali pod, we should start seeing how Kiali is interacting with the LDAP server. Let's see. Okay, I didn't get the. Is Kiali kubectl logs? Okay, I will just try to log in again so that you can see the log message that are being output by the pod. So I can try to log in again, and you will see I'm not getting the. Sorry. Well, I will use the other user, the read-only user that you saw previously. So if I try to type something else here, like user and something else, it should reject. But if I use the read-only user that was available, will be able to log in because this is using the LDAP server. And there you go. So this is using the LDAP. You can see that these are the log messages that are being sent by the pod, and you can see that it's contacting the LDAP server and authenticating as whatever user you are trying to log in. I think that this is a quite important feature, so you no longer need to be using just one user. You can set up an LLAP server if there is one in your organization or your environment, and then you can use that to access Kiali Okay, I think that's it for this sprint from my part.
Thank you, Edgar. That looks amazing. Anyone else want to demo something? So if not, then tell you that regarding to Kiali also we are migrating some of the components of the UI to 2024, and yeah, part of our efforts are there, and also migrating from Jira to GitHub. But this thing's probably we're gonna demo it in the next sprint. So if there's no questions, I'll see you in 3 weeks on the demo sprint for the sprint 28. All right. So thank you very much for attending.